After the college entrance exams, my childhood friend once again confessed to the scholarship student, only to be rejected. Everyone present drew in a sharp breath, yet he wasn't angry at all. Instead, he looked relaxed. Anyway, I was already going abroad with Chia Shu. It just so happens I'm done playing around and ready to settle down. Everyone suddenly understood and hurried to congratulate me on getting what I wanted. After all, I'd been his loyal lapdog since childhood, so I should be. Overjoyed to receive this promise, I really was about to cry. Just then, my childhood friend's most hated rival sent me a message. You were fooling around with me last night, taking every cheap advantage you could, and now you want to go abroad with him today. You think I'm a joke. Looks like I'll need to pay your uncle and a personal visit to discuss your problem of seducing someone and then abandoning them. I almost forgot. This guy is a real stick in the mud. 1. My mom has a saying that's widely circulated among high society ladies: good men don't stay on the market, you have to snag a husband from a young age. She and my dad were childhood sweethearts. From a young age, she set her sights on his good looks and ambition, and relentlessly pursued him to the very end. In the end, my dad became a first-generation entrepreneur, his career soared, and he gave my mom a wedding of the century. There was no end to the movable and immovable assets under my name. My mom, rubbing the dazzling pink diamond on her finger, warned me, having an early romance is fine, but if you dare find someone worse than your dad, I'll break your legs. I was crying without tears. Childhood sweethearts are everywhere in TV dramas and novels. My life is full of Chunju and Mima. Not a single rich second-generation kid I grew up with has a normal brain. Catch one, and they won't make a peep. But then it hit me. I came up with a brilliant idea: get inside first, then screen them from the inside out. I set my sights on the worst of this childhood group, Song Shui. I trailed behind him like a little tail, from elementary school all the way through high school. If he said east, I would never go west. I was obedient to a fault. Everyone thought I was treating him like my future husband. Song Shui always looked impatient, yet vaguely pleased. Joe Shu, you're too well behaved. You're not my type. Every time, I'd nod, pretending to be hurt as I quietly stepped away on my own. At times like this, those brothers who secretly mocked me as a licker would quietly message me to comfort me again. Why hang yourself on one tree when you're such a great girl? Song Shui isn't a good person either. Does that mean anyone who gets along well with him is a good person? All I needed to do was take him as the center, use his little group as the radius, and steer clear of anyone who hung out with them. On the flip side, anyone who irritated Song Shui was a potential target. Very fortunately, Song Shui ran into his most hated archenemy of the past 17 years, Xiejie, first in the entire school, with the looks of a lofty, unattainable beauty. His family background was ordinary, but he won scholarship after scholarship from all kinds of competitions. What concerned Song Shui the most was that he and Shinjing, a poor student, were childhood sweethearts. Shinjing had a pure and innocent look, was hardworking and ambitious, and even treated him with a cool indifference. To Song Shui, he was a breath of fresh air, so he began openly and grandly pursuing Shinjing. It's one thing not to consider my feelings, but he even joked that I should go after Xiejie. My eyes immediately lit up. Exactly what I wanted, too. I had been observing Xiejie for some time. He was 186 centimeters tall, lean but muscular. During PE class, when he played ball and his shirt hem lifted, you could see his six-pack abs. Most of the time, he was doing problems. His back was straight, the hand holding the pen was fair and slender, and even his knuckles were pink. As for the character I valued most, I couldn't tell much at a glance, so I went to find Shinjing. She thought I had come to pick a fight out of jealousy, so she immediately clarified, I have absolutely nothing to do with Song Shui. I smiled. I want to pursue Xiejie, and I'd like to ask you about some things concerning him. Shinjing blinked her deer-like eyes, lively and clear. Is that really okay? I handed her a thick envelope. Payment. Her attitude immediately straightened up. I'll be sure to tell you everything I know without holding anything back. Maybe you even want to know what color underwear he wears. I can go out to the balcony. I was left speechless. Case solved. She's a total money grubber, and a childhood friend is just there to be sold off. Shinjing told me that although Xiejie is cold toward people, he really likes small animals. He often goes to feed the stray cats on the back hill of the school. I looked at the overall evaluation of Xiejie's overwhelmingly superior conditions, and I was beyond satisfied. The next day, I took some cat food and went to the back hill to run into him by chance. He was squatting half-crouched, absently stroking the fat calico, who was purring in comfort. Sunlight filtered through the shadows of the trees and fell across his sharply defined profile, and I seemed to catch the cold, alluring scent of cedar. I smiled as I leaned in. what a coincidence, Xia classmate, he didn't even bother to lift his head to look at me, his voice cool and indifferent. Not a coincidence, I saw you go looking for Xinjing earlier, so please don't drag her into your little game of love and hate. I was slightly startled. You like her too? Xiajie lazily lifted his eyelids with a cool expression. Then the like you're talking about is really rather shallow. I wasn't angry at all. Instead, I was even more satisfied. The harder someone is to get close to, the more serious they are about feelings. I also crouched down, and as I reached out to pet the cat, my fingertips brushed against his hand just as he pulled it back. Xiaji's brow furrowed slightly, and a hint of displeasure surfaced in his handsome, deep-set eyes. I looked up at him and curved my lips. I looked for her because I want to pursue you. Xiaji's expression grew even colder. He was very smart and immediately figured out the twists and turns behind it all. I'm sorry, I don't have time to play with you. 3. Although he didn't believe me, I really wasn't playing around. After that, whenever Xiajie lifted his eyes, he would always see my smiling face. As the old saying goes, you don't hit a smiling face. Just as his patience was about to run out, I moved on to the second stage, playing the victim. After yet another deliberate run-in, I pretended to trip over the chubby cat that had once knocked concubine Fucha out of her pregnancy, cried oh no, and fell toward him. Xiajie reflexively dodged. I watched helplessly as I fell into the grass, scraping the skin off my elbow. When our eyes met, I immediately pouted. You actually didn't catch me, Xiajie. I've been highly sensitive to pain since I was little, and at that moment tears genuinely started streaming down my face. His long lashes fluttered, and a trace of panic flashed across his face, probably afraid that others would think he was bullying me. Xiajie pressed his lips together and helped me up. Stop crying. I'll take you to the infirmary. Carry me. Xiao Shu, I said aggrievedly. My leg is injured too. When Xiajie saw that my knee was red and swollen, he said nothing more, turned around, and bent down into a half crouch. I immediately beamed with joy, wrapped my arms around his neck, and praised him softly. Classmate Xia, you're such a good person. My breath lightly brushed his ear, and Xiajie's steps faltered. Shut up. Maybe he was angry. His voice had gone a little hoarse, and his ears had turned red, for I told Xiajie that my name would, like me, move step by step toward him. He said he didn't believe it, but Xinjing told me that the person who had never looked at rankings before had stopped in place for the first time. His gaze swept from top to bottom, then lingered for a long time on the two words Jia Shu, the corner of his lips curving into an expression even he had not noticed. I was so happy that I transferred her another sum of money. Xinjing immediately said it was too much, and decided to part with something he loved and give me the chance to co-host the school anniversary with Xiajie this year, because Xiajie and Xinjing both had excellent grades and outstanding looks, and they were neighbors. They worked well together in practice, so they are usually the ones hosting major school events. When Xiajie saw me at Xinjing's house, he was uncharacteristically stunned for a moment. Why is it you? I pretended to be angry. You don't want to see me? Then I'll leave. The next second, my foot slipped. Before I could even utter oh no, he had already firmly caught me by the waist. Xiajie looked exasperated. How many more times are you going to trip on flat ground? So many times that catching me has become his instinct. Perhaps he himself hasn't realized it, but from his initial stiffness to his current proficiency, he has already grown accustomed to my touch. Xinjing poked her head out and smiled as she explained the whole story to him. Xiajie was silent for a long time. You gave her money? I was somewhat surprised. How did you know? What do you think? He was a little speechless. If there weren't a subsidy for hosting the event, do you think she would have gone? I shot him a sour look. Well, you really do know her well. Just as I turned around, Xiajie stopped me and slipped a piece of chocolate into my palm, my favorite brand. As if he were trying to coax me, I curled up the corners of my mouth, and my mood instantly improved. After revising the hosting script, Xinjing's grandmother was especially warm and insisted on keeping me for dinner. Xinjing's expression rarely looked a little awkward. Grandma, her family has already prepared dinner and is waiting for her. Let her go home. I felt a little dissatisfied. Why are you kicking me out? I already told my parents I'd be eating at a friend's place. Grandma was very happy. Exactly. It's her first time here as a good friend. How could we let her go home for dinner? Exactly. Exactly. I grinned as I helped set the table. Xinjing stared at my back, dazed for a long time. The meal was warm and harmonious. Grandma Xin liked me very much and kept piling my bowl high with food. Xinjing was still a little shy when she saw me off downstairs. You probably aren't used to this kind of food, are you? It's delicious, I like it, let's have it again next time. Meeting her startled gaze, I said with a smile, I genuinely want to be friends with you. My dad was poor when he was young too, so what? Didn't he still work his way up to become a big boss? I'm very good at reading people, trust me, you and my dad are the same kind of people, you'll definitely make something of yourself in the future. Before getting in the car, I thought of something and turned around. If Song Shui makes things difficult for you, just tell me. Shinjing rubbed the reddened corners of her eyes and smiled. Okay, 5. After Song Shui saw me and Xie Jijie hosting on stage together, he finally realized something was wrong. Why had I rarely gone up to him lately? What had I been busy with during this time? Why had my attitude become more and more perfunctory at that moment? He had all the answers for the entire event. That intense stare almost burned right through me. After the event ended, I was just about to remove my makeup when Song Shui dragged me into a corner. Xiao Shu, what's going on between you and Xie Jijie? My temper flared, and just as I was about to curse at him, I forcibly held back. Song Shui's family was planning to send him abroad to study after the college entrance exam. If I provoked him now, who knew what kind of trouble he'd stir up? If he went crazy and latched onto me, then I'd be in for it, so I decided to calm him down first. I lifted my head, resuming my usual soft-spoken demeanor. It was you who told me to go after Xie Jijie. Have you forgotten? A faint sound came from the doorway. It turned out the wind had blown the door open a crack. When did I ever tell you to? He stopped and remembered. A surge of anger was forcibly swallowed back down into his chest. He couldn't let it out, but he couldn't hold it in either. All he could do was grind his teeth and say, then you were very obedient. Yeah, he couldn't bring himself to admit defeat and back down, so he could only leave with a darkened expression, slamming the door behind him. From then on, he pursued Shinjing even more openly. Little confessions every 3 days, big confessions every 5, making it common knowledge. I'd call it a performative personality. Shinjing's repeated cold rejections only made him more hooked. I just like girls with self-respect and self-love, unlike certain people who are so casual. He said it in a breezy tone, but his gaze stayed fixed on me. I had no time to pay him any mind, because Xie Jijie was no longer speaking to me. He didn't reply to my messages and even avoided seeing me during breaks, and it went on for half a month. He looked like he was trying to draw a clear line between us. I was so angry I caught a cold and took a week off to lie at home. Shinjing sent me a message. Are you okay? Xie Jijie has tried several times to fish around and ask me about you. He looks calm on the surface, but in reality he's almost going crazy with anxiety. Oh, right. I blocked him. With a cold expression, I replied, tell him I'm so sick I'm almost dead, and he won't be seeing me anymore. Tell him not to worry. That night, someone knocked on my bedroom door. Standing at the door was Xie Jijie, drenched in sweat. Ignoring the violent rise and fall of his chest, he seized my wrist and examined me with a grave expression, only to discover that my cheeks were rosy and there wasn't the slightest sign of weakness. What illness? My throat was hoarse from dryness. I couldn't help pouting, longing. His Adam's apple moved in silence, and the darkness in his black eyes deepened even more. At the same time, footsteps sounded from the staircase. Song Sui's 6. I pulled Xie Jijie into the room and locked the door. He lowered his head to look at me, his gaze dark and unreadable. Am I not fit to be seen? I replied softly, of course not. Doesn't Song Shui always cause you trouble? I just don't want to see him. At the peak of his obsession with Shinjing, he even childishly went to warn Xie Jijie not to get close to her. In the end, he was infuriated by the other's contemptuous look. Song Shui was halfway over when my mother stopped him. Xiao Song, our Xiao Shu has already gone to rest. Could you come visit her another day? He was silent for a moment. Then I'll come tomorrow. As the footsteps faded away, I breathed a sigh of relief. Xie Jijie gazed at me for a long time, the corner of his lips curling into a faint arc, yet no trace of a smile reached his eyes. Xiao Shu, has anyone ever told you that you're quite adept at speaking human language to humans and ghost language to ghosts? I choked back a retort and shot back, well, has anyone ever told you that you're as changeable as the weather? One day you're perfectly fine, the next you're ignoring people, and now you're acting like you're here to demand an explanation. Xie Jijie, knowing he was in the wrong, swallowed slightly and swiftly averted his gaze, changing the subject. Did you take the photo on your wall yourself? Following his gaze, it was a photo I took last year while hiking with my parents. A flower blooming on a cliff, its scientific name being Clematis acerifolia. I said proudly, that's right, This is a real untouchable beauty in every sense of the phrase. Pretty, isn't it? Siajiji gave a half smile. I thought you'd pick it and keep it as a memento. This is a nationally protected plant of the second class. Do you think I'm that ignorant of the law? I shot him a glare, feeling more and more that he was being sarcastic with me today, so I said pointedly, beautiful flowers should be left to grow freely, admirable from afar, but not to be picked. People, on the other hand, are different. I spoke seriously and earnestly. Siajiji, I gave you a chance. If you were tired of my pursuit, you could have taken this opportunity to stay away from me, but you came to me on your own, so doesn't that mean you're worried about me? You're not averse to me getting close to you, and maybe you even have a little, as if admitting defeat. Siajiji pulled me into his arms, helplessness tinging his hoarse voice. Yes, I like you. I widened my eyes, feeling my heartbeat gradually quicken. The air fell silent for a long time. I said aggrievedly, then why did you ignore me during this whole time? Siajiji apologized readily. I figured something out. What? He let out a sigh and brushed a kiss lightly against my temple. Chao Shu, I gave you a chance too. From now on, you don't get to decide. 7. After Siajiji left, I was still a little dazed, just like that. He'd won me over. It was my first time dating, so I had no experience. It was all because the faint scent of soap on him was so intoxicating that all I wanted was to kiss him, but he turned on me after getting what he wanted, and, all serious, told me to focus on preparing for the college entrance exam. Absolutely terrible. My mom pushed the door open and came in, a knowing smile on her face. That kid was really worried about you. He ran all the way here. My eyes were full of anticipation. So, what do you think? Are you and my dad satisfied? My mom pinched my cheek, her tone proud, as expected of the daughter I gave birth to. Your taste takes after mine. He's obviously a good kid, excellent in both character and studies, polite and modest yet neither servile nor arrogant. Just now downstairs, your dad chatted with him for a while and said he's calm and proper in the way he deals with people, with nothing to criticize. You two should just get along well for now. The future can wait. If he dares to mistreat you, your mom and dad won't just sit back and take it. I threw myself into her arms and acted all sweet and clingy. I'm so lucky to be your daughter. It's our luck that such a beautiful and smart you was willing to come into mom's belly and become our daughter. Ahem. My dad knocked on the door, his tone flat, though he couldn't quite hide the smile in his voice. Stop the fake praise and come down for some late night snacks. We exchanged smiles and said okay. After returning to school, it was still a hectic period of review. Siajiji and Shinjing helped me fill in the gaps together, and my grades improved at lightning speed. This left Song Su and his rowdy bunch of friends dumbfounded, but they didn't stop to think. My parents were both top students to begin with, so how stupid could I possibly be? I had deliberately scored in the middle of the pack before only because I didn't want to change Song Su's impression of me. After all, he seemed to fall in love with people very easily. Isn't that so? As soon as my grades improved, he got upset. You're really putting in the effort just to chase Siajiji. You're actually planning to stay in the country and go to college with him, aren't you? I shot back. And why wouldn't I be able to? Song Shui's face instantly darkened. Chao Shu, cut all ties with him right now. I smiled at him. Sorry, can't do that. He looked at me in disbelief, clearly not expecting me to refuse, and clenched his teeth as he said each word stiffly, one by one. Fine, you'd better not regret it. He announced that he was cutting ties with me, and at the same time got his little clique to isolate me. I was so happy I couldn't sleep all night. I was just worried I didn't have a good reason to cut ties with this group of people, but Shinjing had it much worse. Song Shui said he would keep pursuing her until she agreed. Quite a few classmates were betting on how many times he'd have to confess before he finally gave up. Shinjing was also so angry she couldn't sleep all night. I transferred some money over as compensation for emotional distress. Her expression changed in an instant. Another wonderful day has passed. Good night night. Asterisk caret caret asterisk 8. The ordinary yet tightly packed days passed one by one. Amid the cicadas chorus in midsummer, the college entrance exam finally ended. After I came out of the exam hall, I spotted Siajiji at once in the crowd. He was unusually nervous, his Adam's apple shifting. How do you feel? I put on an air of mystery. You'll have to wait until you fulfill your duties as my boyfriend to find out. Siajiji is really bad, he nags me to study every day like a clockwork robot, yet he doesn't give me a single benefit, so conservative and old-fashioned. He even says stuff like, studying is for your own good, in that patronizing, buzzkill way. I'm not happy. Siajiji gave in helplessly and agreed that after the college entrance exam, I could do whatever I wanted. He has always meant what he says, at that moment. He handed me the flowers he had ordered in advance, and amid everyone's shocked stares, calmly took my hand. I was even more shocked. This is right at the school gate. Aren't you afraid it'll look bad? Entrance exams are over, so it doesn't count as an early romance anymore. Then give me a kiss. Siajiji actually obediently lowered his head, and my pupils shook in shock as I immediately covered his mouth. There are so many people here, I rarely felt my face grow hot. Besides, how could a first kiss be this hasty? Siajiji seemed to have awakened some kind of new trait, watching my blushing expression with great interest, and then, with a straight face, he suggested, then let's go somewhere no one is around. Great idea. That night, I took him to my home. My parents threw me a small celebration party. They invited Siajiji, Xinjing, and a few good friends I had once screened out in the opposite direction. Since we were all adults, we opened a bottle of red wine with the adults' permission. I must have inherited my mom's poor tolerance for alcohol. After just a small cup, I started to feel dizzy. Everyone got to know each other quickly, and before long we started playing games. I transferred Xinjing the cover fee. She counted the zeros on the screen, and her eyes lit up instantly. Leave it to me, you can rest assured, no one will disturb you tonight. Siajiji. I took his hand and led him through the winding corridor, stumbling all the way to the pavilion behind the rockery. No one's here now, let's kiss. On the surface, he remained impassive, but in truth the tips of his ears were red all the way through. Shu, you're drunk, go back and sleep first, okay? No. Siajiji had no choice, afraid I might fall, yet also afraid I'd make too much noise. He could only pull me onto his lap. I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him, but it was too dark, and I ended up kissing his chin. The second time, I kissed his upper lip. The third time, I missed again. Our breathing gradually grew heavier, and the sound of our heartbeats became especially clear in the night. The next second, the back of my head was cradled by a scorching palm, and a sweet, clean soap scent lingered around the tip of my nose. Half dazed, my hand instinctively found its way to his abs. I couldn't help but sigh. Such a great feel. In the end of her memory, it was a slightly flustered and embarrassed "Don't move." 9. The next day was the class reunion. Several classes had booked the same restaurant. On the terrace, Xinjing leaned over and said, what did you do to the proper young gentleman Siajiji last night? I've never seen his face that red before. I answered honestly, I don't know, although I'd blacked out. An eerie sense of satisfaction welled up in me. It seemed last night had been pretty enjoyable. Oh no, I have to go. Xinjing interrupted my train of thought. I looked up to see a dense crowd approaching from ahead. Leading them was Songshui, whom I hadn't seen in a long time. Someone excitedly picked up their phone to start recording. Here it comes, witnessing Brother Yi's 99th confession. Folks, do you think he'll succeed this time, the 99th time? And there's an interactive segment, too close to the divine, too far from the human. Xinjing skillfully treated him like air and strode away. Songsu also stopped her in a very formulaic manner and said without sincerity, hey, want to be with me? Xinjing, get lost. Songsu actually stepped aside with a smile. Everyone present drew in a sharp breath, thinking he had lost his mind in anger, but Songsu's expression was relaxed as he said calmly, anyway, I was already going abroad with Shu. It's just right, I've had my fun and it's time to settle down. After their initial surprise, his brothers showed expressions of sudden understanding and congratulated me one after another for getting what I wanted. Even though the photo of me holding hands with Siajiji at the school gate had spread everywhere, they still believed I was just deliberately trying to provoke Songshui. After all, I had been his devoted follower since childhood. How could I possibly be with someone else for real? Now that I finally got Songshui's promise to settle down, I should be crying tears of joy, right? For a moment, many gazes fell on me simultaneously. I really was about to cry. Just now, Siajiji sent a message. Last night you got drunk and took advantage of me all over, and today you want to go abroad with him. Are you playing me? It seems necessary to visit your parents and discuss your problem of abandoning me after having your way. I almost forgot. This guy is a bit of a stickler for rules. He really would tell my parents. 10. Seeing me like this, Songshui's expression softened a little, but he still couldn't bring himself to back down. All right. After coming abroad with me, you need to behave and not throw tantrums anymore. Understand? If you keep making me this angry, be careful or I really will ignore you. I looked up, and through the noisy crowd, my gaze met Xiajiji's from afar, who was leaning against the archway with cold, sharp eyes. Song Shui frowned, somewhat displeased by my disregard. Hey, Xia Shu, I'm talking to you. I impatiently pushed him away. Get lost. Can't you see you're blocking my dear boyfriend? Amidst the uproar, Song Shui stared blankly as I walked towards Xiajiji. He murmured, boyfriend. I didn't intend to pay attention, but he broke down and shouted behind me. Does he know that you approached him just so I could pursue Shinjing? Xiajiji's expression didn't change at all. He even provocatively curled his lips, as if saying, so what? I turned around expressionlessly. Song Shui, your self-importance makes me want to suggest you get your head checked. Is it possible that I like him precisely because he's completely different from you? He froze, thought of something, and his face instantly turned deathly pale. He stared blankly at my retreating figure as I pulled Xiajiji away. Unable to utter a single word. In the corner, two people were whispering softly, bro, what did Joshua mean by that? It just means he could never possibly like EG. Hey, are you talking or are you shoving people around? Why are you touching them for? Clack. Everyone turned around and saw a half-person tall clown decoration beside them. The man gave an embarrassed laugh. Sorry, the red nose fell off. The scene fell into dead silence. 11. Ever since they came out, Xia Jijie had not said a word. I asked cautiously. You don't really think I teamed up with Song Shui to mess with you, do you? He stopped and gently squeezed my hand a little harder. On the day of the school festival, I overheard you talking in the changing room. You said he was the one who sent you to come after me. I thought back carefully. So you were mad at me and ignoring me because of that. He didn't say anything, which was as good as admitting it. I sighed and explained honestly. I was just worried he'd keep pestering me and mess up my college entrance exam, so I casually brushed him off. Besides, you saw it yourself, he doesn't understand a word people say. The more you reject him, the more worked up he gets. A gentleman should not stand beneath a crumbling wall. Now that the college entrance exam is over, there's naturally no need to worry about him anymore. Xiajiji looked at me with his dark eyes fixed on mine. So you never planned to go abroad with him? Of course. Afraid he still wouldn't believe me, I even pulled out my phone and showed him the chat screen. I've already blocked him, check it however you want. Xiajiji took it over, and the more he looked, the darker his expression became. Gu Jiaoshi, male, likes movies. Zhou Xinghao, male, likes games. Fu Chenlan, male, likes physics. Jiyu, female, likes law. Shinjing, female, likes money. I was sweating buckets. We're just friends. They were only sending me high school entrance exam blessings. These were all high-quality connections I'd built up over the years by tagging along with Song Shui. Whenever I ran into someone who didn't get along with the clique, I would always privately look into them first. When I came across someone from a struggling family, I'd lend a hand. When I came across someone being bullied on campus, I'd step in to help. When I came across someone with psychological problems, I'd talk them through it. Unknowingly, I've gained many friends in the field of sustainable development. It is foreseeable that they will surely shine brightly in various industries, with boundless prospects. Xiajiji sneered coldly. Then what did you save me as in your contacts? Guiltily, I scrolled to the top of my chat list. Perfect heartthrob male guest. He slowly relaxed his furrowed brow, the corners of his lips just beginning to curve into a smile, only to freeze again the next second. A new message popped up. Xia Shu, do you have any plans to start dating after entering university? Ha, quite a few admirers, I see. Xiajiji turned off my phone screen with a stiff face. I gently shook his hand. Are you angry? Someone liking you is perfectly normal. I won't be angry. Then where are we going now? I watched him hail a cab. Xiajiji interlaced his fingers with mine with practiced ease. Officially paying a visit as your boyfriend. First to your place, then to mine. By now, you should give me a proper title. I was left speechless. So what exactly did I do last night? 12. After I posted a group photo of me, Xiajiji, and a few good friends on moments, they finally came to their senses. It turned out I really only used Song Shui as a filter, and all the friends I made had feuds with him. While I was planning my graduation trip, Song Shui suddenly burst into my home with red-rimmed eyes. There was still a bruise on his temple. He probably got a beating from his father. Xia Shu, have you ever liked me? The bodyguards were about to step forward. I waved my hand, smiling with playful amusement. Who Do you think would be foolish enough to like someone who pulled girls' braids and nicknamed classmates as a kid, then bullied classmates and ran wild relying on their family's money when they grew up? Song-soo's eyes were nearly brimming with tears, his tone anxious and heavy. But I've never done that to you. I let out a derisive laugh. You wanted to, sure, but did you dare? He hadn't never tested my bottom line in middle school. I helped a classmate whom he was bullying, and he locked me in the school gym's equipment room so I could reflect on my actions. The next day, his father broke 3 of his ribs. From then on, Song-shui understood that the initiative had never been in his hands, but I still interacted with him as if nothing had happened. Gradually, Song-shui developed the illusion that I couldn't do without him. It doesn't matter. I don't care what he thinks. I only look at the tangible benefits he brings. In my view, Song-shui's constitution is like that of a cannon fodder villain in a novel. Those he dislikes are bound to be the protagonists who will achieve great things in the future, the kind even my parents would praise with admiration. It's simply delightful. Song-soo still couldn't find a trace of insincerity on my face. He finally lowered his head, seeming so distressed that even his back could no longer stay straight. I'm sorry, but I really do like you. I never thought we would end up apart. All that remained on his once arrogant face was a humble plea. Give me one more chance, and I'll change. Let's go abroad and start over, okay? He wanted to come take my hand, but the bodyguards lifted him up and dragged him away. I knew it. Being this delusional about oneself is a sickness. Even now, he still thought I would agree to go abroad with him. Beyond saving 13, I overperformed and barely got into B University. It was close to a university where Xie Jijie and Xinjing had applied. Just 1 street away, I heard Song-shui didn't want to go abroad and was dragged overseas by his father, who even took his passport. Without my connection, he was dissatisfied with this useless son in every way. It seemed like he was thinking of permanently dumping Song-shui abroad and starting a new account. He really had it rough, but I had it rough too. College wasn't as easy as the teachers made it sound. I not only have to deal with a packed schedule of coursework, but in my spare time I also have to intern in various departments of the company. After all, I'm the only one who can inherit the huge family business. I'm practically spinning like a top. After work, a handsome male colleague stopped me. Xiaoshu, what are your plans after work? His face was slightly flushed as he stood awkwardly in front of me. I answered naturally, my boyfriend is picking me up for dinner. At times like this, a sensible person would have already left, but he kept following me into the elevator. Is your boyfriend also at B University? He smiled shyly. You're so outstanding. I wanted to see what kind of guy would be good enough for you. Ding, the elevator doors opened, and Xie Jijie was standing outside. A simple black shirt and suit pants only made his tall, straight figure look even more striking. The faint furrow from exhaustion after non-stop work smoothed out the moment he saw me. He caught me with practiced ease. The male colleague who had originally said he wanted to get acquainted with him now managed a stiff smile, made up an excuse, and quickly left. Xie Jijie looked down at me. Which number is this one trying to poach my girl? From freshman year to senior year, I had long lost count of how many there had been. Used to it, I said. Do you see me giving them any chance to poach me? Don't worry, I'm going to spend this life right here with you, you old stick in the mud. That's right. Xie Jijie lived up to his name. He valued his chastity more than anything else. Every time passion ran deep, he would endure until he felt like exploding, yet he insisted on taking cold showers himself. He would even lock the door, afraid I might do something to him. With the evening breeze blowing, I comfortably leaned on his back, feeling drowsy. In my daze, a sudden thought crossed my mind. Xie Jijie, should you go see a doctor? Don't worry, I really won't laugh at you. His footsteps paused, and after a moment, he let out a laugh that seemed squeezed from his chest. Xiaoshu, I've secured series of funding. I forced my eyes open and, as a reward, hugged his face and kissed him fiercely several times. Wow, that's amazing. Xie Jijie teamed up with a few like-minded classmates to start a business and founded a company focused on the research and development of large AI models. It grew rapidly, achieving what it has today in just 1 year. But don't change the subject. I'm thinking about your health. He hummed in response. I'll go see a doctor. That's good. I fell into a peaceful sleep at ease. 14. Wake up, Miss Chow. The curtains were suddenly drawn open with a swish. Hearing a familiar voice, I struggled to open my eyes. Xinjing, weren't you on an exchange abroad? Why did you suddenly come back? Her skin had tanned a little, but she looked even more confident and composed. The food abroad is terrible. I miss the days of going shopping and out to eat with you so much. That was indeed convincing. She pulled me out of bed and even arranged for a professional stylist to come over and get me dressed up, looking at myself in the mirror. Perfect down to every strand of hair, I quickly came to my senses. A vague premonition slowly began to form in my mind. It wasn't until Xinjing took me to the seaside, decorated in a dreamy and romantic style at sunset, the pink and orange hues of the evening glow intertwined, so beautiful it almost felt unreal. A gentle sea breeze was blowing as Xiejie slowly walked toward me. He knelt on one knee. Chia Shu, are you ready to spend the rest of your life with me? In the ring box was an engagement ring he had designed himself, a Q-shaped design, made especially for me. Xiejie thought he had hidden it very well, but I had known all along, just as I had long known that he would surely be my lifelong partner. My choices have never been wrong. Are you ready to spend the rest of your life with him? Of course, I answered without hesitation. We embraced under the sunset. Both sets of parents looked on with contentment, while the cheers and blessings of family and friends filled our ears. There was no happier moment than this. 15. There still is. The old prude finally came to his senses and even took the initiative to move into my room. I clung to him like an octopus. Mr. Xia, do you even know what it means to walk into the lion's den? Do you think I'll let you off tonight? He closed his eyes, curved his lips, and lifted his chin slightly. Come on. I suspiciously reached into his firm, strong waist. Honed by years of training, Xiejie's Adam's apple bobbed, and the veins in his arms stood out. No, it was already this provocative, and yet this time he didn't stop me even once. I swallowed and felt inexplicably nervous. After all, I was only a fraud. Just then, Xinjing sent over the photos taken at the proposal ceremony. I rolled over and got out of bed, saying seriously, I'm going to pick photos to post on Moments. You should rest first. Xiejie was off in every way today. I always felt that if I didn't run now, the consequences would be serious, but he pulled me back in one swift motion, repeating my words with a pleased expression. Do you think I'll let you off tonight? The shimmering light from the pool's surface projected onto the ceiling, creating a rippling effect, and I could no longer tell whether it was the light swaying or my own vision. To make matters worse, he let out a low, husky chuckle. You always call me an old stick in the mud, so why are you pressing your lips so tightly now? I was so sleepy and exhausted that I almost cried. Xia. Jijie, I want to sleep. He kissed my forehead, damp with sweat. Don't rush, it's still early. I turned my head to glance at the pale light of dawn. Just about to get angry, he placed both hands under my waist and lifted gently. Didn't you still want me to go see a doctor? I shook my head. No need, you're in great shape. Xiejie guided my hand across his scorching skin. How would we know if we don't check? Dear, Chow, me. He's even gone as far as role-playing, who corrupted my once so serious boyfriend. Oh, right, husband now. 16. Married life remained as calm and uneventful as ever. During our honeymoon trip, we went back to our alma mater after the Gaokao. I had originally planned to take Peng Sanhua home, but there were just too many people feeding her, and if you were slow, there was none left. Revisiting an old place, I came to accuse him. Classmate Xia, were you preoccupied with something when you didn't catch me back then? By then, the young man no longer had the youthful innocence of his boyhood. Between his brows and eyes lay an air of calm composure and steadiness. Xiejie said slowly, back then, I was thinking, knowing full well that your motives weren't pure, yet my heart still fell for you so quickly. Wasn't that a little too hopeless of me? He sighed and pulled me into his arms, but the moment I saw your tears and felt my heart seize with pain, I knew I'd lost to you, and I was more than willing. Josh, I love you, the end.